What's up, guys? What are you doing? You have a good day in the stock market? So I felt that I would do a public live stream today. So for anybody who wants to see what it's like to be a part of the Capitalist Academy, we do this every single morning. Usually I go over like what I'm looking at, what I'm playing, and go over some of my plays today. But mainly we're here for Uber stock, Uber earnings. If you guys are here and you're in Uber or you're playing Uber or you're wondering what's going to go on with Uber, comment, let me know that you're here. Also hit the like button. That really helps too. Usually I think Uber earnings is a little, I think they usually wait till like 4:30. But main things that we're looking at is going to be active users. That's always big. The other thing is that we have a huge push. The other thing is that Uber is up huge today because Lyft is up huge today. Let's take a look here. Lyft is up still. Lyft is up 21%. That's pretty nuts. That's pretty crazy. So with Lyft still being up 21%, Uber went up huge. And if you are part of the Capitalist Academy, first of all, you know that I'm a really long-term investor in Uber. To be quite honest, no matter what happens today, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. If the stock goes up and say we hit 40, 50 bucks a share, I think if earnings are good, we can hit 35. If it goes up to, 40 bucks a share, I'm going to sell for sure. I'm going to sell some. I'm not going to sell all of it. Usually 5 minutes after the bell or so, I believe. So yeah, I mean, whether it goes up or down, I don't care. If it goes down, I hope it really goes down. I hope it goes down to like 13 bucks a share. Alan says, let's go, ya boy Snack Attack. What's up, Alan? I've always wanted to know what your real name is too. Because I see so many people's names in the Academy for their Discord names. So that's good. I'll have to remember. So I mean, for me, if Uber goes up or down, I don't really care. It's not a big deal. If it goes down, I'm going to scoop up more shares. If it goes up, I may de-risk a bit. Let's take a look. Let's do some technical analysis. For anybody here who's not part of the Academy, you don't know how to use technical analysis, I have a whole bunch of videos on the YouTube channel. You can also join our Academy. It's $30 a month. You get like 50 hours of lectures. You also get to be a part of our Discord group where we do this every single morning. What's up, Drew? And so that is $30 a month, life for life, until June, and then it's going to go up to 50. But yeah, so if we take a look at Uber, we had this, let's zoom in here. We had this monstrous squeeze that was happening for a very, very long time. And we were watching it. I knew that the big move was probably going to come for earnings. Any move, any squeeze technically usually has a fundamental reason behind it. So, with this situation here, I think that if I remember correctly, originally off of this big push that we had, I think that was off of the news. I forget what was the news. There was some news that came off that we got this lift off from. Then we had this big pull down, and then most recently this big move is from Uber earnings. What's up, Joe? What are you doing, brother? You got anything in Tesla? Tesla. I've been watching that. Oh, I was gonna say that you have to watch the Joe Rogan Elon Musk interview. It's ridiculous. You got to go watch it. I put it in the Academy, but you got to watch it. I've been watching that, so that's why I said Tesla. I'm also going to go over my plays for the day. Some plays I'm looking at. Uber. Yeah, do you have any Uber, Joe? But, so we had this big push off the 200. We had this monstrous squeeze that was happening. This is a really bullish play. I actually grabbed some calls for this. We had a big push up and then a big pull down. You can see here on the TTM that we were squeezing really, really hard for a long time. The price levels that we were watching, and you can see it kind of lines up perfectly if I get my draw tool here, was right here. This is when we last had like this little bear flag that happened. We actually touched it. We're double topping now. Ironically, it's funny how technicals meet with fundamentals. So the next spot would be right around 35 bucks. So you can see it's funny that technically we actually got rejected right where we were expecting as a team. What's up, Aaron? What's up, Alan? Is that the episode where he talks about flamethrowers? No, dude, that's a good one. But there's a brand new one that just came out today. Can you explain what makes Uber look bullish, vice bearish? Yep. So actually, we're going over that right now, Justin. We have this big squeeze that was happening here, and then we pushed our way up, touched, because you got to remember, old supports become new resistances. So this old support here on this flag became our new resistance. We actually hit it, got rejected, pulled back, bounced off the 200, and then now we're hitting it a second time. So my thought is, I mean, technicals have nothing to do really with earnings, but technically we're either going to break through and then we're going to hit this next level, which is a 10% move, 12% move. That's usually, we haven't had too many earnings because Uber's still a young public company, normally how much we move, or we're going to get rejected. We're going to go down to this 200-day SMA. For me, as a long-term investor, I don't care what happens. I really don't. Obviously, I would like it to go up, but if it goes down, I'm not going to go buying a whole bunch of shares unless it really goes down. My average, see what my average is. And I'll address timing stuff because even as a long-term investor that I am, I almost tried to time it. So my average is 25.60. I was up $4,000 all time last week. I was going to sell and get out and try to save some money. And if I would have, I actually would have saved myself $4,000. I could have rebought this week. And here comes the dump. So let's see if we can see what numbers are. I just lost $1,000 in a minute. All right, cool. So let's see if we can get the numbers here. I think Sean in our group has puts on Uber. So if you have puts, congratulations. Oops, that's way too big. Uber announces results for first. Okay, hold on. Now here's the other thing about Uber. The big thing that you're going to look for is the conference call. Last earnings, Dara, who's the CEO, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name for you guys. Dara, who is the CEO, said that he was expecting before the whole, I can't say it because we're public on YouTube, but before this whole situation that happened, he was expecting profitability, EBITDA, by Q4. So if that's still going to happen, I doubt it. I don't think there's any way that's going to happen. We're going to see. Also, while we go over these numbers, hit the like button. That always helps. Let's see. I'm going to have to move my microphone because I have this whole screen on my little Mac screen. Revenue of $3.5 billion, growing 14% year over year, or 16% constant current basis. That's not bad. I don't think that's really terrible. A 14% year over year growth is not good, but considering the circumstances that we're in right now, it's not terrible. Let me move this off here and put this on my big screen. There we go. So I don't have to sit here and look into the computer. Gross bookings grew $15.8 billion, up 8% year over year, or 10% constant currency basis. So you have to remember, Q1 is January, February, March. So January, things in America were pretty normal. February, things were kind of iffy. March is just trash. Nobody was really doing anything in March. So it does look like we're selling off. I'm going to go back to the 1 minute in a second. Actually, while I'm reading this, I can make this bigger. Unless my computer just wants to have a stroke. It may want to do. Okay, there we go. No? You really going to do this? Taking a dive. Okay. So $15.8 billion, an 8% year over year move, or a 10% constant currency basis, with rides declining 3%. Obviously, it's going to go down. And Eats growing 54% year over year, respectively, on constant currency basis. So that is not bad. Also, if you guys have any questions this entire time, you can just post them and I'll get to them afterwards. If you have any stock you want me to look at, any position you're in, any questions, I'll scroll back up through them. So yeah, all right. Rides declining 3% year over year. I expect that. Number one, because the rides aspect of Uber is kind of tapped out already. I wouldn't say there's no room for growth, but a lot of people use Uber right now. And with this whole situation going on, I don't expect, Uber to really have a lot of rides. But Eats growing 54% year over year, that is a good number, but we could also be seeing the stock going down because they're giving free deliveries. So we got to see how many people actually end up sticking with them next quarter, depending. Revenue growth of 14% year over year or 16% constant currency basis. Revenue excluding the impact. Hold on. What does it say? Revenue excluding the impact of, I can't say that word. Response. I'll say Roni or Rona. They're taking forever. No, they released earnings, Sean. I'm reading them right now. Ride's adjusted EBITDA delivered $581 million in profits, up $389 million year over year, and down $161 million quarter over quarter. So that's not good, but I mean, no crap. That's going to happen, you know. Eats adjusted $313 million loss, down $4 million year over year, and up $148 million quarter over quarter. So Eats is the biggest loser for the company. That is kind of, we figured that. Eats has always been a losing investment for Uber. If you look at the rides aspect, Uber always, not always, but they have very recently been profitable. Adjusted EBITDA of a loss of $612 million, up $257 million year over year, and up $3 million quarter over quarter. So obviously, there's still a losing company. Unrestricted cash and cash equivalents and short-term investments were $9 billion. Okay, I can't say that. The Rona response initiative impact on GAAP revenue of $19 million and impact of GAAP cost of revenue of $5 million. So this is a snippet from the CEO. While our rides business has been hit hard by ongoing pandemic, we have taken quick action to preserve the strength of our balance sheet, focus additional resources on Uber Eats, and prepare for any recovery scenario, quote unquote, said Dara Kashrakara. I'm not even going to try to say his name again, but that was my first time. Along with the surge in food delivery, we are encouraged by early signs that we are seeing in markets that there is a beginning to opening back up. Our global footprint and highly variable cost structure remains an important advantage, as our expectation is the rides will recover varied city by city and country by country. Our ample liquidity provides us with a substantial flexibility to navigate the current crisis, but we are being proactive and taking actions to emerge stronger and more focused as a company, said the CFO, Nelson Chai. We've recently exited 8 unprofitable markets in Eats, so that's something good that they've been doing. I forget the exact name, but they had like basically a form of Uber Eats that they were a shareholder in, or I think that they ran over in India, and they basically ended up just getting out of that bad position that they were in, and they still own like a X amount of the company, but they're not operators. So that's good. As a company that loses money, you kind of want to focus on what makes you money, what potentially will make you money, and then how to get out of that. Significantly reducing the size of our customer support and recruiting teams, that's not good, and merged our Jump unit into Lime. Building the steps we have already taken, we are continuing to look at all levels to ensure our core rides and Eats business emerge from the crisis stronger than ever. Okay, not bad. I don't, like, as an investor, I'm not upset with that. As somebody trading, we're going to see what happens. We already had, since open, we ripped 3%, then we fell 5%, and now we're only down 2.5%. A stock like Uber usually goes a lot off of the call. They're going to want to hear, the outlook for the company, what the company's plans are going to be like, dependent upon if this continues, what they're seeing with people like reopening back up, travel. Like, you got to think about that too. As a long-term investor, I don't use Uber a lot. Like, you have the people who use Uber Eats and rides. Like, primarily it's going to be in a city where you don't drive a lot, or if you're traveling. Like, I'm going to Miami, I'm not driving, I'm going to be using Uber everywhere down there. But if you're not traveling, you have less people using rides, you have less people taking Uber to the airport, you have less people taking Uber all the time. But with a company like Uber, Eats is their biggest loser, obviously. The big thing with Uber Eats is they're kind of monopolizing. Their plan is, we're going to undercut every single smaller company like DoorDash, like Grubhub, Postmates, those types of people. They're going to basically undercut everybody. They're going to get everybody onto their platform, or in this case with the Rona going on, they're just not going to charge delivery services at all, right? They're still paying their drivers. They're going to take a huge hit. So if you're an Uber driver, and I know this because I did this whole thing, most of you probably don't even know. When I first started my YouTube channel, I did this thing where I was building a Webull portfolio to show that anybody can build a portfolio. And I drove Uber Eats for like 4 hours on a Saturday to make $100, and I was putting $100 in there. Not that I needed to do it, but showing you guys that, hey, anyone can do it. If you got 4 hours in a car, you can go make $100 driving Uber Eats. So they're a losing company because the way that it works is, say you order food from let's say Papa John's or something. If you order food from Papa John's, the delivery fee for you is like $5. But if you're 30 minutes away, I'm going to get paid probably $13 for that order. They're losing money on every aspect of that. And now with the whole Roni situation going on, they're losing even more because they're not even charging a delivery fee. But they're smart because in the long run, they're bringing more and more people to their actual platform. And you got to realize, and we've talked about this a lot, with Uber being a data platform, that's more data that they're creating, that's more customer loyalty that they're creating, that's more people, more active users, more active, members, you would say, on the app. And on top of that, once everything goes back to normal, most of those people will stay with Uber Eats. Let's go through some questions. If you guys have any stocks to look over, I'm not going to listen to the earnings call. I might do like another video later, but we're going to keep an eye on Uber over here. If you guys have any questions on any other stocks, any positions you're in, if you're part of the academy, this is kind of our debrief that we do usually every day now. Let me know. I can go over some positions I'm in. We can go over some technical analysis, and I'll answer some questions. Also, we got 28 people in here now, and I only have 8 likes. Do me a favor, hit the like button. Thank you guys. Also, thank you everybody. If you're not part of the academy and you're just a normal subscriber, thank you for subscribing. We're almost at like 1,500 subscribers, which is really cool. I think we're like 1,420. So I'm excited. I was looking at this thing called Social Blade, and they've projected that we'll hit 100,000 subscribers in 3.5 years. I want to do it beforehand. Oh, whole bunch of comments. Awesome. Let's see. Uber. They released, I thought it was at 8 p.m. No, not 8 p.m. No. Yeah, just a few shares. It's not bad. How's it going, Aaron? Going good. Is this the episode where he talks about the flamethrower? Oh, no, we already went over that. Can you explain what makes Uber bullish versus bearish? Kind of went over that, but I can go back for anybody who is new to the stream. Basically, we had this huge squeeze that was going on. You'll see it a little better if we go to a longer time frame, like on the daily. Had this big squeeze going on, and then we bounced out. The TTM fired for a little bit. So really, this whole situation moving into this was like a 50-50. We were either going to break through here and fade, or we were going to push up to the highs. Bought 2 shares, I'll average down. Rest in peace, my cause. Mapsosa? Yeah, who knows? Like, I've seen earnings where it's up 10, 20, 30%, and then the next morning it's down, and vice versa. I mean, we've had times in this crazy stock market where futures are up 3-4% the next day. When it opens, they're down 3-4%. Ethan, trade desk. Yeah, this is my trade desk. It's pretty chill. I've messed with this like 5 times now. WWE, I'm still in it for calls. Okay, let's look at this. Let's go over to WWE. Now, let's go over why I took this position. So, let's not take that. So we had this big symmetrical triangle going on. We had this squeeze that was happening here. Big push up to the 200-day SMA. We ended up getting rejected from the SMA, bounced off the EMA, holding over the SMA, which was bullish. Now, we had the TTM squeeze firing. For anybody who doesn't know how to use a TTM, I explain it in any of the courses, and maybe I'll make a YouTube video on it someday soon if you guys are interested in that. Basically, it's Thinkorswim's proprietary algorithm that basically just goes off of a Bollinger Band. So if you know how to read a Bollinger Band, you know how to read this. So we came down, we've been squeezing, bounced off the 50-day, and now we're holding. We did sell off a little into the end of the day, which, kind of sucks. But really, we're either going to see a big pop up, I would say probably 7% within the next week, or we're going to fade down to the 50, break the 50 down to the 200. I think I'm up something small, like $150 right now. But we'll see what happens. You think Uber stock, or where do I see Uber stock going? I don't know. Like, when it comes to these things, I think right now at $30, I talk about it all the time. I think Uber is appropriately priced. I think that 25 to $30, you're buying a good company at a good deal. Yeah, they're a speculative company for sure, but I think you're getting a good deal on it. $20 to $25, you're getting a great deal. $20 and under, like down at 13, that's easy money in the next 3-4 years. D Polcam, are we going to pretend that losing $2.9 billion in one quarter is not grounds for drilling? Yeah, it's a lot of money to lose. They are a losing company. It's speculative, but I don't care about what they're doing right now. I care 5 to 7 years from now. Whenever I take a long position, I always ask people, like, define what is a long position for you. If you're looking at something a year, some people 1 year is a long position for them. Some people 2 years is a long position for them. For others, it's a 5 to 8 year position. For me, this is 5+ years or more. This is equivalence to me of buying Tesla or a company like that was very, very speculative, that was losing a ton of money. That, I think Tesla was even worse if you were to buy it in the beginning, because, this is not the beginning for Uber. Remember, I'm talking about early in IPO, but I'm not mad at losing $2.9 billion with a pandemic going on. And I think that if you look at what when you're investing, you don't look at what's in front of you. You speculate, and you look at what the future of an investment is. And for me, the risk fully outweighs the reward. I do see Uber could be worth $350 to $500 a share within the next, I said 5 years before this whole pandemic, but I would say 5 to 7 years for sure. And if I lost all 20 grand, I don't care. It's not a big deal. The risk versus reward for sure is there for me, and I totally believe in the company. I'm still in Chewy puts with you. Where is iRobot going? I sold half my puts in the morning dip, but I still have the other half. Really good selling half, Sebastian. I was down $2,000 at one point, and I sold out down $93. Let's look at both of them. So let's look at iRobot, IRBT. We called this out in the academy. We released this squeeze on the 4-hour. We had this big squeeze happening here. This was an ascending triangle. We had this big pop, and then this would have been your best time to kind of go in. I sold when we fell down to the EMA. Really, the situation, this kind of went sideways. You can't be right on every single play that you have. But tomorrow, it looks like we tried to cross on the 4-hour, but tomorrow we're probably, if we fade down to the EMA, that will be up to you to use proper risk management and say to yourself, like, do I want to get out? The reason I sold was because we had a steep sell-off. I recovered almost all the money that I was down, and they were 515s, which I didn't want to swing them through the weekend, which is something to think about. So, Sebastian, think of that to yourself tomorrow. Do I want to swing? If you got the same ones I got, think to yourself, do I want to swing this through the weekend? Because I don't like swinging anything that will turn into a weekly. I don't ever want to do that personally. Oh, and Chewy. So Chewy set up perfectly. I'm up $300 on it. I went in with a really, really small position. I wish I would have went in, more with more money, but I kind of was just like, let's chill, because I got like $4,000 in September SPY puts, and I think I got like $2,000 or $3,000 in June SPY puts. So I was pretty heavily in the market. Let's do a quick little check on Uber. Oh, this is the daily. I was like, what? Trying to recover. We'll see what happens. I think earnings call is going to be what you're mainly watching. So, big thing on Chewy. We opened up here today, right on the EMA. So I got in basically at the perfect time. We started to come up. We had this little flag pattern happening on the 4-hour, but then we rejected. On the RSI, We're not even cold. We're at 48. So that was a really good sign if you're somebody who has puts. If anybody doesn't know how to use an RSI, if the RSI is at 30 and below, that's cold. If it's at 70 and above, that's hot. Yeah, so, I mean, if you want to learn technical analysis, I have some videos. If not, you can check out the Academy. I'll put a link below. Sean, are you in here? Sorry, someone asking questions. So yeah, so this is looking really good. Who is this in here? Sebastian. This is looking really good. I have 515s. I think they're 515s. Let me take a look. So I don't know if I'm going to swing over the weekend. The big drop's probably going to take a bit. Yeah, they're chewy, yeah, 15s. So I kind of don't want to swing them over the weekend. Hopefully, in order for this squeeze on the TTM, I think in order for that to really break, and release, it's going to have to move down to the 50-day. That's a 10% drop. What I might do is if we open red tomorrow, also guys, remember, and we're going to talk about this in a bit. I'm also going to make a video on it tomorrow or tonight. I might make one on, no, I'll probably do it tomorrow. We have a head and shoulders on SPY, which is very bearish. We also have a fact. We also have the issue that the labor numbers are coming out tomorrow, which I think are going to be really bad and push the stock market down. But I see Chewy moving 9% down to the 50-day SMA. The big thing to ask yourself, Sebastian, is how do I feel with holding something that's going to be turning into a weekly? I don't like that. So say we dump 3-4% tomorrow. I'm already up $300. I might sell and just hold my profits and maybe let my profits ride. Great play, though. Really good play. Also talk about another $10,000 position I took today once we get through the questions. If you have a question on anything, guys, we're just kind of chilling, hanging out. Now that Uber came out, I'm going to keep an eye on it, but ask me a question. Let me know. It can be technical analysis and be long-term, anything. Uber is going back up. We'll see. Yeah, Raquel. We'll see what happens, honestly. That's why I always say to everybody, like, earnings on anything is a gamble. We'll see what happens. I'd love for it to go up. If it doesn't go up, it's not a big deal. Like Oz says, he's up 30% on Uber, so he's good either way. I don't care about what happens today. I care about, where the company's going long term. I'm still up 20%, so it's not a big deal. And it's down 3% after hours on a day where it was up 13% today. So it's not a big deal. Starbucks is going up, I've put. Let's take a look. I was looking at getting into this today. Okay. Let's look at the 4 hours. Not looking too hot here. Okay, yeah, not looking too good at all, guys. So when I called this out, you have to realize why I was looking at this. When I called this out, we had, let me zoom out. I had this huge ascending wedge with a bearish divergence. This is always a great pattern. This is like my go-to pattern of all time. I'm going to make a video on this on YouTube in general. This is my main strategy. We had this big squeeze. This was the move. Now we started to hold here and squeeze and squeeze and squeeze. And then we should have seen, a pullback down to the 200 SMA. Now you got to remember, Mapsosa, what platform do you use? Think or Swim by TD Ameritrade. If you are interested, I made like a how I do my setup on YouTube. It's amazing. It's 100% free. You do have to open an account with TD Ameritrade. You just got to put like $5 in there. You get the platform 100% for free. I used this for 3 years when I first started, and I just use only Robinhood. And I have, if you're, I don't know if you're part of the Academy, but if you become part of the Academy, we have a whole course on it too. It's literally the best platform to use. But when I called this out, and this is why a lot of people ask me when I call out a position or when people take a position, when do I get out? We'll talk a little bit about risk management here, and I've talked about it in the scaling your portfolio. There's 3 times to set risk management. Number 1, you write this down, is a max percentage loss. So I always say never risk more than 2 to 3% of your portfolio on any trade, no matter what it is. So there's a max percentage loss. There is a max dollar loss. So you're willing to only risk $50, $60, $70. on a trade, you have to rework that. So say you're trading with $10,000 on shares, and you're only willing to risk $500, well, that's a 5% loss. If you want to let it move more, then you would do, $5,000, and then you could have a 10% loss, anything. So you can do that, or you can do what I do, but it requires a lot of discipline. You can do a technical stop loss. If something technically breaks, oh yeah, Sean, if you're listening in here, Robinhood's trash. They don't put it in there. Yeah, Robinhood is trash, and they are always late. But yeah, so with something like Starbucks, you can see that when I called it out, first of all, we were holding under this 100-day SMA. So the plan was, it comes down. We got rejected by the EMA, rejected by the EMA, rejected by the 100, bounced back. We started to get rejected by the EMA, broke through the EMA. To me, I would have already cut my losses if I was watching this and if I was in this, because we did pull up. We broke the 100-day, which is like the first sign of like no bueno. This is not good. But this 50, this is like your last line in the sand, and it's not even that strong. You got to realize your 200 is your strongest, your 100 is your second strongest, your 50 is your weakest. Now, this could be a bit of like a shake short where they're shaking out weak hands, but I don't know. If I were you, who was this, Raquel, if it's not down tomorrow, if it doesn't get rejected by this 50, just cut the loss and get out. That's up to you. But yeah, if we don't get a rejection here, now, like I said, labor market numbers are coming out tomorrow. The whole market could die tomorrow. I really think so. Maybe not a 10% death, but the whole market could die, 5, 6, 7% tomorrow. I mean, 3, 4, 5, 6% tomorrow, depending on what happens. Because the whole market, and we'll get to that, is looking very, very fragile right now. Condolences to anyone with Roku shares and calls. Did Roku die? Ooh. Wise girl, hey, are you here? Are you in here? I'm going to hit you up on Discord right now. Hell yes. One of our students had loaded up, dumped the truck back on some puts on Roku. Congratulations, if she's in here. Killing it. Team's killing it today. Awesome. What platform do you use whenever that? What's good with snap puts? And I don't know if you already talked about WWE. WWE, Sebastian, looking really good. Not really good. I say he kind of had a pullback today. I'm still in it. I'm even. We had a nice push. We were up like 2.5% today on the stock, and then we had a big sell-off. But we're still squeezing. So for me, the risk is versus the reward. And you guys got to realize that. Hey, we got 33 people in here. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the like button. You got to realize with any position you have, anyone in here who is a trader or even an investor, it's always about your risk versus your reward. So like the WWE setup is not the best setup here, but the risk is versus the reward. It's kind of like if you were playing blackjack and you knew you could win 75% of the time if you use proper risk management. You would always play. Why would you not play? You can't expect to not lose, but it's about just consistently making money. Like if you go... Let's see. I out of respect for my students, I don't want to put my positions on the Discord out there. But if we look through all the positions, and we've had a great 2 weeks, I'm up like 7 to 8 grand. And out of those, there's probably about 10 to 12, 15 trades. And I've lost on 2 or 3 of them. So it happens. You know what I mean? Like you have to expect a loss. But WWE is looking pretty good right now. Sebastian, I'll keep you up to date. And snap puts. Oh, I have Snap over here on the active watch list right now because I was looking to get in again, but we'll see. So we pop back up. Something to notice here, I'll ask my students, if any of my students are in here, what is this? What is this called? Let's remove this Fibonacci. What is this called here where we're making higher highs on these two, and now we're going to try to make a higher high. We're making higher highs right here. But the RSI right here is making a lower low. What is this called? Make me proud, guys. What is this called? I'll sip some water while I wait. Do you have any stakes in REITs? Zach, no. I used to love REITs. Yes, this is called a divergence, a bearish divergence. There you go, Aaron. Killing it. And Vivek. Yep, divergence, bearish divergence. I'll talk about Snap in a second, but Zach brings up a good question. Do you have any stakes in any REITs? No. I used to love REITs. I used to love dividends every month, and I just don't trust it. As much as you believe, if I can't say it, Rona is real or Rona is bullcrap, or if anything, whether you believe the seriousness of not, people are reacting to it like this is the end. And I think that in a state like New York and a city like Manhattan, there are people who, well, it's two things. There's people who are afraid to get in elevators. There are a lot of people who don't want to go to work. Like my girlfriend works in an investment company, and this is the big thing that scares me. And for a lot of people, this scares me. Companies are realizing they don't need that high-rise office in, Manhattan. People are realizing they don't need to they can work from home. Like my girlfriend's she works, I'm not going to say the place, she works in an investment company. They're running just fine with her being home. And a lot of companies are realizing, hey, why are we spending all this money on commercial properties when we can just work most of our people from home? Now, that doesn't mean every company is going to abandon their office, but I think that the whole REITs has to do with like what's going to happen after this. How are people going to go back to work? Are they still going to get these big commercial loans that are 5, 6, 7 years out? How are malls going to do? Like if you look at what a lot of REITs are, they're commercial properties. Now depending on the REIT, I would invest in a REIT that does, condos or assisted living REITs and like old people home REITs, not the retirements, but the bougie ones. Those are the money. If I had millions and millions of dollars, it's really sad. If I had millions and millions of dollars, I would be investing in those because our generation does not want to take care of our family anymore. Not saying me, I'm saying our generation doesn't want to have our old sick parents living on our houses with us. It's not like how it was back in the day. I've seen a lot of old people blow a lot of money in those old people retirement homes. So those types of REITs, yeah. Condos and apartments, yeah. But nothing in commercial real estate. I really don't trust any REITs. Now, it doesn't mean that what I say is right. Something might change, but for me, I don't know. I think the big question that I have is like, what are we going to do after this? Because you have so many people on the other side. You have people like me who, I social distance. I'm not hanging around my dad. I'm not, going unnecessary places, but I don't really care. Like I'm out doing whatever I got to do. I'm living my life. As soon as they lift the travel bans, I'm out of here. Like I'm already booked a trip to Miami. I'm out. Like, I don't care. But older people, they asked my girlfriend, do you want to go back to work? And she's kind of like, no. So like they don't plan to open till July. Even if the ban releases and you can all go back to work, they're not going to open till July. A lot of people are afraid. Yeah, I don't know. REITs kind of worry me. I hope the whole housing market crashes. I'm looking to buy a house. Snap. So we're going to go back to Snap real quick. So we have a bearish divergence. So bearish divergence, for anybody who doesn't know what that is a rising price action, higher highs, but the RSI is making a lower low. So price action is trending up, RSI is trending down. Does anybody know what RSI means and what it does? While you answer that, we'll continue talking about this. So we have this moving up, down. A lot of steam. We can see volumes getting pulled out from under this. I would maybe start taking a position on this. Again, I made some nice profits last time I hit this. We're also moving up into this range here, this price level, which is definitely a resistance. So yeah, I would start taking a position here. I will probably take a position tomorrow, depending on what the market does. I wish I would have actually seen this today. I did not know this was up 5%. 31 concurrent people. Awesome. If you guys are not a part of the Academy, you should comment in the comment section so I can see how many people who are not a part of the Academy are watching live. Aaron, Relative Strength Index. Aaron, I'm not tooting your horn, and it's not disrespecting anybody, but I think that you are growing so much. You really are. You're going to be a distinguished trader at some point. I promise you that. Yep, Matthew. Relative Strength Index. Basically, and if anybody doesn't know, distinguished trader is like the highest that we have in our academy. Now, so a relative strength index basically is just showing the strength of the trend. So if the price is going up and up and up, but the strength is going down and down and down, and the volume is kind of going down and down and down, it's kind of like holding up a huge structure with like glass beams. At some point, doesn't mean it's going to have to die and tank down to this 200-day SMA, but this is going to have to fade at some point. Identify assets that are potentially overbought or oversold. Yep, exactly. Exactly, Candace. Killing it. So usually on an RSI, you don't look at like trends. Usually if it's red, it's overbought. If it's blue, it's oversold. But in this situation here, usually the RSI is the right, correct one. Sebastian, whoever isn't part of the academy should join. I was a complete noob and the numbers are talking for themselves in 1 month. Thank you, Sebastian. That means a lot to me. It really does. That makes everything that I do, like seeing everybody grow, literally is what makes me do what I do. It's dope. It's awesome. I love seeing people, just getting better every day. That's my mantra. So that means a lot to me. Thank you. Yeah, so we're also kind of, I guess you could say we're starting to get a, it's not really a wedge. Yeah, this is looking good though. Who called this out? Was that you, Sebastian? Yep, it was Sebastian. Yeah, snap puts are looking really good. I would have entered now. Now the thing is, judging off of how snap has been moving, I would probably go like 2 to 3 weeks out. I always want to give myself a little more time. And when I look at most of the loser positions that I have, not to be like, I'm so good, but like it's usually because I don't give myself enough time. The overall play was right. I just didn't give myself the adequate amount of time. Thank you. Your academy has helped me greatly. Thank you, Aaron. Killing it. Sebastian, BZUN call, BX call, 55, GSX call. I'm up on all three. Wanted to hear what you think of them. Dude, Blackstone call. Very good idea. Very good play. I put Blackstone in the academy just to watch. I thought back when I have an alert set here, when we started to get this fade, I thought we were going to fall under and hit this, hit under the 200 and then maybe fade to the bottom. I can remove that now. It's looking good. I don't know when your expirations are, but this is looking good. The biggest thing is we are kind of pretty far away. I wouldn't be surprised if Blackstone pulls back to the EMA, but you're definitely going to start to see like we start to have some resistance points around here. So short term, within the next like day or two, we could see a pullback to the EMA, and then the next resistance is up here. So, I mean, getting out today wouldn't have been the worst situation, but if you have some profits, you can definitely let it get some wiggle room. We definitely are going to see a bit of a resistance. All 515s. Blackstone usually trades with the market, so we'll see. We'll see how labor numbers are tomorrow. We look at jobless claims today, 3-point-something million, which is the lowest that we've seen. Still a huge number. Market rips. So just because bad numbers come out doesn't mean the market's going to move in the right direction. Uber's back in the green. Whoo! Look at that doji. Let's go, team. Yeah, definitely going to keep an eye on. I thought that was my dog. I'm stepping on his toy. What's the other one? BZUN. Damn, Bzon. I haven't played with this in a while. You got calls on this? BZUN call 31. All right, so this setup is not bad, but it's not good. So bullish things, RSI. I always tell my students, tell anybody, if you were to put a little arrow on the end of your RSI, where's it going to be pointing? If it's pointing up, it's usually good. We have Paul O. Uber going up. Hey, let's go. We have RSI pointing up. MACD did just cross. Also, I had a question from actually a student on how I get these little arrows on my MACD. Sorry. If you go up here to the cog, I lied. If you go to studies and you hit edit studies, these are all my studies. If you go to MACD and you hit the cog, it'll say, here's your fast length, slow length, keep all that normal. And then where it says show a breakout signal, set it to yes. And so what that yes will do is actually show that they crossed. You can see it. You don't need that to be there. You can definitely see it on your own. But for me, I like to have that there. It just like very quickly be like, oh, look what happened. Damn, PayPal's still up 14%. So bullish. We have this here. We have the MACD cross. RSI is pointing up. The squeeze. I don't really watch that. The other one is a money flow. Some people use that. I don't. The bearish aspect to this is that we're under the 200-day SMA. And so I say a lot, like the 200-day SMA is like the big daddy of all of these. This is the strongest that you can get when it comes to a moving average. So the fact that we're under this 200-day SMA is not good. So what you're going to want to look for, Sebastian, is this to pop up over the 200 and then make its way back up. If this is a 515, just be a little hesitant. We do have a gap to fill here. The old saying, all gaps need to be filled. We do have a gap to fill here. But the whole thing with a 515 is I don't know if you're going to have enough time for that to happen. And very quickly, let's look at GSX. And GSX is looking pretty good. Next resistance is going to be back up here. So this is looking pretty nice. Maybe start to take profits if you're up or selling half out. That's what I do a lot of times to de-risk a situation. SQQQ projections, guys. I can't even talk. Projections. So for anybody who does not know what SQQQ is, it is a triple leverage ETF against the NASDAQ. If you do not know what a triple leverage ETF is, I have a video on my YouTube. So check it out. If you're ever trading SQQQ and you're swinging it, don't ever look at SQQQ. It's really pointless because of how it decays. Look at NQ. And NQ is... We're going to talk about the overall stock market too. And we'll go back to SPY in a second. Your next resistance was kind of here. So really just watch tomorrow if you're in it. I sold this morning. I sold it at right before market closed because I was day trading it. But I do have a ton of SPY puts. I think the market's going to go down. Thank you, bro. Still learning. I'm grateful for the mentorship. No problem, Sebastian. You're killing it. Making me so happy. All right. Let's go check Uber. Oh. Uh-oh. We just breached through this little double top here. Let's go. 32.52. I'm trying to see 35. I had a dream, guys. I'm not lying. I actually did have a dream. For some reason, Uber at $40. I had a dream. Uber hit $40 today. Oh, not bad. I'm up $3,500 on Uber today. Not a bad day. 17% day for Uber. Now, I would assume a lot of you guys would ask me, like, as a long-term investor, am I looking to take profits here? Because, like, let's be honest. If we look at Uber, there was a lot of profit taking. I really could have made $4,000 and then sold and bought back in. My thought always is if it really is a long-term investment that you believe in, what if Uber ripped up and I never got back in? So for me, like, I'm not going to take profits. If we can hit $35, $40, I may sell. Like, let's look right now. I'm up, $5,000. So I'm up 27%. I have $23,045 in here. I sold some a couple weeks ago when I thought maybe we'd fade back. I'd maybe sell, if I can hit $25,000 today, I'd maybe sell $5,000 and hold 20. Just to de-risk my position. In case the whole market takes a dump, I have another $5,000 to buy in. But I also, in a savings account, because I don't like to put all of my money in my portfolios. Obviously, it's not a smart idea. But I do have like another 30 grand sitting around. That I'm gonna put another 10 grand in Uber if we dip down, and the market keeps dying. Damn, my DKNG. I wish I would have got a better. I wish I would have got more money in this. I'm up like 23% already. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Uber ripping. Holy crap. Let's go, team. Shit. Oh, I can't curse on here. Forgot I was going public. 13% move from bottoms. That would have been a nice scalp. Holy crap. I guess the earnings call is going well. We're up 8% after hours. About $5,500. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. So if you have any questions, let me know. We're going to look at SPY, my thoughts on SPY. There's a couple of people taking positions in our academy. I have puts. Oz has puts. I think Shane and some other people have puts. Let's look at why we're watching this. Anybody know what this pattern is called? It's not perfect. I'll draw it on here. What a perfect pattern of this would look like. Anybody know what this is called? I want to start asking more questions. I feel like that's how people learn. If I just tell you and tell you and tell you, it doesn't help. But let me know. I averaged to 20%. If you're in here, wise girl, hey, congratulations on your Roku puts. Head and shoulders. Head and shoulders. Hell yes. Erwin? Hopefully I said that correctly. And Adrian, which I think Adrian is Angel. SPY 300 first before 260 or vice versa. What do you think? I think SPY 260 before we hit 300, personally. If I had to bet my life on it, that's what I'd bet. But it depends. Like you have to think a catalyst for this. And I think labor market numbers could be the start. Sup, boss, first time viewer ever? Holy crap, Erwin. That's awesome. You got first time viewer from this. Awesome. I like the content. Keep killing it. Thank you, my friend. Honestly, means the world to me. Thank you. Yeah, head and shoulders, killing it. So what technically usually happens, you gotta remember, every single pattern is not perfect. Any pattern that you have is not going to be perfect. There are some head and shoulders that look perfect. There's some head and shoulders that look like this. So normally you would have what's called the neckline, and the neckline would be your support. So you would have a push up and then down, which would be your shoulder, which in this case, while it's not perfect, this is our shoulder. And then you would have your head here, which in this case is our head. And then you would have a shoulder. And now this is not perfect, but normally you would fade back down. If we look at, what was the one we played? Mesa. We made a crap load of money off of this. This is called a reverse head and shoulders. And you can see I didn't draw the line here, but this is reverse. So this is exactly what we're looking at right now, but flipped upside down. You have the neckline. You have a shoulder. You have a head. You have a shoulder, and then we took this position like a week and a half ago at $3.08 and rode it up 46%, up to $4.50. So normally what ends up happening, you come back, and then you push up to here, and then what usually happens, did not happen in this case, you make a big move up. If we take a look at GLW, this is another play we took on a reverse head and shoulders right here. So you have your shoulder, you have your head, you have your shoulder, and then we came up to the neckline, got rejected, but normally it'll pop up. So let's look at SPY. Now, while I go over this, type in the comments. First of all, hit the like button and type in the comments why, because Maposa brought up a really good question. Do you think SPY will hit 300 before going to 260? I want to know, why do you think SPY would go up and hit 300? Any of you guys. And I want to know why you think SPY is going to go down, or the overall market's going to go down. Let me know your thoughts and what you're thinking. Now, in this case, this is not perfect, but we have a shoulder, we have a head, we have a shoulder. So in reality, we should get rejected here. I would have liked to close under the 50. I was surprised that we didn't get this fade today. I thought jobless claims was going to make a fade, and then maybe labor numbers tomorrow were going to make a fade down. I'm expecting maybe... Sorry, I've been talking all day. Got to get my voice stronger. I was thinking maybe we're going to fade to 260, but this 200-day SMA is a really, really strong moving average. So the whole thing is like we might not hit 260. We do look like we're going to golden cross at some point unless we have a really, really bad sell-off. Awesome. So I'm going to go over them, but Aaron, you just post that. That's good. So I think we're going to end up fading down here. Now, a break of pattern in this situation, we were watching this yesterday. So the resistance would have been right here at 289. And look at what happened. If I were to draw a price level right here, we called this out 2 days ago. Look at what happened. We got rejected here 3 times. Oz, new highs of day on Uber. Holy crap. Oz, you got to be up as a percentage. You got to be up huge. I'm up 30% now. Oh, man. Just this one portfolio is up $5,000 a day. And my my TOS portfolio is up like 800 a day. So it's not bad. So, yeah, so we're starting to get a rejection here. We can see this. Right here. We're getting this big rejection. Tomorrow is going to be very important. If we break up above this, above like into 290, we're probably going to move up to 300 or at least 296. If we reject, and then we're going to be holding on this EMA and this SMA, and then we'll break down to the 100 break down to the 200. So I'm up 42% on Uber. Soft clap, so you guys don't have to hear me slapping into the microphone. So yeah, I don't see SPY holding here. And let's be honest, I'll ask you guys this too, but let's go over some reasons. Resurgence of cases, and I thought the MACD crossed. Uber strong, new high day. Yeah, so a resurgence of cases, I think the more that people open up, we're going to probably see a resurgence of cases. I think, the biggest thing for me is not only a resurgence of cases, but who the hell is buying right now, right? You have to think, I always say this, but every candle, from the minute to the daily to the weekly to a yearly, every single candle is going to be psychology. It's going to be the psychology of this, of how people are feeling. You had this big dump in the stock market, that was almost a month long. Think to yourself, I'm not buying. Like, are you guys buying long term right now? I don't see anything except for airlines and maybe cruises, which I'm not really touching right now. Like, I don't see a reason to buy. I think that for people who missed the bounce here, nobody's going to go in. And you can see, too, every day, volume is getting pulled out more and more and more and more and more. So I think there's no reason for the big money to come in. Holy crap. We're almost $35 a share on Uber. Whew. Actually, I'll get my little tracker out. Hang on. My little position. Where are we? I'm so happy, guys. I guess, too, like, for anybody who is new, everybody else knows. Just so you know, I do have a position in Uber. Let's share my position. So we're up 30% today, $5,600. Pretty nice, guys. Pretty nice. Pretty happy about this. Wish my average was lower. But we're killing it. Shweta, what's up? Did anyone grab Roku puts? I don't think so, but you did, and you're going to kill it. $4,000 today. Thank you, Uber. Jesus. It's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy because before this, I was up $4,000 all time, and I probably could have saved myself like $4,000. What was that? That was an alert. So I guess the earnings call is going good. Nice. Now, as a long-term investor, there's probably a lot of people who are like, should I sell Uber? That's up to you. Can you look at Roku for me, please? Of course I can. Candace, congrats. Knife. Uber 34. That's what I'm saying, guys. New highs, new highs, new highs, new highs. This is what I'm saying. I've been getting crap from people for investing in Uber for the longest time. Like, they're a losing company. They don't have, it's whatever. Every company's a losing company when they start. I'm cool with it. I'm really happy with earnings on Uber. I need to go re-listen to the call. Well, I'm happy for them to be performing like this. I mean, here's the thing. I dreamed of Uber at $40. It can happen. It could happen. We could go parabolic and hit 40, which would be nuts. It'd be really nuts. If we hit $40, I would sell. I would probably sell half my position. Because if we hit 40, what's my average? 25. If we hit 40, I'd be up 72%, which means I'd be up like 17 grand. I'd probably sell like at least $10,000 worth. We'll see. I don't want to, but it's one of those things like de-risking a position and riding off of profits is always amazing. But then again, if Uber's like $300-400 a share in a couple of years, I'll hate myself. Shweta, congratulations. Thank you. I just got here. Carlos, what's up, Carlos? TLDR. Okay, hold on. Somebody asked before that. Can you look at Roku? Let's take a look at Roku. Very nice. So nice dump. And we had this big squeeze that was happening here. And we kind of had a bit of a resistance that was happening. Nice rejection. I don't know what the actual numbers. Then I'll sell Oz. I'm not selling to 100. Then I'll sell 100 shares and be completely de-risked. Yeah, it's kind of my plan is if I can hit a point where I'm up 100%, I'll sell out. How did Lyft do overall? It was ridiculous. Something like, I forget. I went over them this morning. I just look at so many tickers, guys. Oh, we need to look at Microvision. Something was supposed to happen today. I didn't trade it or invest in it, but something was supposed to happen Tuesday. Yeah, we're at this EMA, Shweta. So hopefully we can break below this and then hit this 50 break below. If you're up huge tomorrow, I think you said they close at 5:15. So I would just get out entirely. Oh, Carlos, TLDR means too long, didn't read. Oh, see, guys, I'm so old. I don't even know what the hell that means. I just got here. Too long. Oh, yeah, my stance on Uber. Carlos, first of all, are you part of the academy? If not, it doesn't matter. I'm trying to see who's not part of the academy to see who's actually interested in this. My position on Uber, is it still up? I'm up like 6 grand, I think. 5,800. Love them long term. Great company. Lost 2.9 billion this quarter. Don't really care. Long term, really good. Holding, I'm very happy. Lifted really good. I forget what the exact numbers. Do you think Uber will surge till tomorrow? I'm not listening to the call right now, but it could. You just found this channel? Dude, I must be doing something right with SEO. That's like the second or third person who right now is like, I just found this. Dude, thank you so much, Carlos. That's dope. That's awesome. Thank you for being here. Maybe I need to do more of these live streams. Yeah, so basically, it could still surge tomorrow. I talk about this a lot with my academy, but it really comes down to like, how do investors feel? You have to think about investor sentiment. Like overall, because we're not moving the market. Like even me, if I have $100,000, I'm not moving the market. The market movers are the people and the hedge funds with millions and billions of dollars. Dude, how much? That's awesome, guys. That's so sick. We have so many first time. So the academy, I'm not dropping like a here, but I just have people asking. It's $30 a month. You get access to almost 50 hours of lectures and courses, everything from like setting up TOS. I don't know if you guys ever use it. Jeff, what's up, man? Like using TOS, swing trading, day trading, technical analysis, my specific strategies. I've been doing this full time. If you guys don't know, I've been doing this full time for 6 years. I focus a lot on psychology of trading because the real aspect is that like what makes me consistent and such a good trader is the psychology. You know, knowing you're not going to win every single time, knowing how to actually cut your losses, and understanding the psychology behind trading. That's the big difference. So you get access to all the courses. I release new courses every single month. I release lectures for my academy every single week. We go live like this every single day, every single morning, go over what I'm looking at, what I'm trading, everything. It's really dope. So that's $30 a month. And then January, it's going to go up to $50 a month because I want to keep the integrity of the group. And then probably September will go up to 100. Does the academy focus on long-term or options or both? Honestly, everything. So good question. I primarily swing trade options. That's me. Maddie, you'll make more than enough to cover the cost of the academy. Put forth the effort to learn. Thank you. Dude, actually, I will drop the academy right here, guys. Yeah, so I do both because here's the thing. If you're a trader, you're not going to make millions and millions of dollars trading. And I'll be the first one to tell you. The way to really build wealth is through long-term investing. So I have a whole video if you guys want to watch it. I just put it out like last week on my investing strategy. I just posted the link right here, guys. You'll see for the academy. So what I do is I have about 80% of my net worth in long-term positions. Not entirely right now because the only real big position I have right now is like Win and Uber. And then I keep 20 or 30% for trading. I primarily trade options. Sometimes I'll take shares. I have shares right now on DGX I bought today because this is making a beautiful cup and handle. The reason I went with shares is because I don't want to have to deal with time decay. This could take a long time to go through, and I don't want to deal with the options. So I just put the link here for you guys. So I primarily, I long-term invest. I have a whole long-term investing section. I'm actually building a library on deep diving these companies. So I do both. I do a lot because you really need both. That's the importance. What I do, you can watch the How to Scale. I think it's How to Build Wealth in 2020 or How to Build Wealth in a Recession. I just put it out last week. What I primarily do is I have my portfolio, like my trading portfolio. And every time my trading portfolio gets over, 25, 30 grand, I take that and I put it into a long-term position. And then once my long terms get over like 100 grand, then I go and buy a house or buy a rental property because you need to continue to scale that up. And that's how you're going to eventually build your wealth. Shweta, Peter is the best mentor out there. Thank you guys. And I'm not, it's not egotistical, but I think that the reason that everybody in our academy does so well is because there's no, I'm not going to badmouth people, but there's no like Tim Sykes millionaire mentor, buy this penny stock. Like I tell everybody, even in my academy, some people trade pennies. I tell you, don't trade them. Don't trade them. Don't buy weekly options. Like I have a very realistic approach to what I do and what the stock market is like. I've been doing this for 6 years. I've seen a lot of people start, I've seen a lot of people stop, I've seen a lot of people fail. I've lost a lot of money. Talk a lot about how I lost $26,000 my second year trading. So I thought I was a big shot. I thought I was cool. You know what happens. So I would love for you guys to become a part of it. If you get in now, it's $30 a month for the rest of your life. Let's see. How many members are in the academy? Right now, I think we're like 187. And I started 4 months ago. So it's really, really sick. And we have a lot. All of our members are awesome, really. The reason I'm raising the prices is because I don't want to eventually get to a point where we have like 2,000 members. I really don't. Because, what's up, Jeff? Are you you're in the academy already? What's up, brother? Awesome, Jeff. Yeah, so there's 188 now because Jeff's the man and he just joined. And I don't want, as much as I would love to grow and have thousands of people, I want to keep the integrity of us. I want to keep the integrity. Of course, I do this, I always say like I don't do this to make money because there's plenty of other ways to do it, to have the academy. But I want the academy to be a community. The bigger that we grow, the more money the company, Capitalist Academy, makes, the more we can do. Like I would love to get a huge office building, and just have a place where, like, if you guys are in town, if you're in Philadelphia, that's where it is, you guys can come, you can come hang out, you can come do whatever you need to do. I can teach you. We can have like in-house classes. Like, it would be dope. Or just a place to come hang out and do what you need to do. So welcome, guys. Yeah. Let me see. $3 up is a big move for UBS. Okay, so let's go through some stuff. UBS. I don't even know what this is. I don't know if somebody called this out. This is actually not looking too bad, because we're holding over the 200-day SMA. MACD's trying to cross. I would set a stop loss probably at $9.23 if we don't get under here, and if we bounce up. Really nice risk versus reward. So if you're looking to get in this position, who was that? Carlos. If you're looking to get in this position, it's not looking bad. Definitely looking good. Proper risk management is everything what it is. It'd be awesome if we could have the Academy retreat in the future. That's my other plan. Have a retreat. Have you guys come. I say to everybody, who you are outside of the stock market is who you're going to be inside the stock market. So I don't say you have to work out, you have to do all this, but it's a lifestyle. You just get better every day. More, not that you have to be, but the better you treat your body, the better your brain is, the better person you are, everything. It all correlates. It's amazing. I sold a chunk of my PayPal shares, took profits. Good or bad idea? Good idea. I am very conservative as a trader, because holy crap. Yeah, really good idea. I'm just really conservative as a trader. I've made a lot of money. I've lost a lot of money. This is really good. We have this big gap. Maybe it could push from 147 like up to 153. But Carlos, everything, and any new person who is here, I say it, everything. It's all risk versus reward. Your risk versus your reward here is not worth it. Like, think about it. If it pushed up to $153, but it could fall down to $135, you're risking 7% to make 3%. That's not worth it. Anytime that you're risking, you want to risk minimum 1 to 3. So if you're risking 3% loss, you need to be making a 9% gain. Maddie, we are not the toxic people on stockbook groups. Everyone genuinely seems to want to help each other and grow. That's true. That's why I started the Academy, because I'm sick of toxic Facebook groups. Yeah, and welcome, Jeff. The Discord is kind of, when you first start, it kind of looks a little crazy. I don't know if you've ever used Discord, but it's a really dope tool. Any position I take is going to be in the My Position section. Any trade ideas that I haven't taken but I'm watching is going to be in the trade idea section. So welcome to the team. Let's see. Let's go through ourselves some more. Yeah, and the trader retreat would be sick too. Somebody asked something, I forget. Your opinion on AMSWA. I don't think I've ever heard of that. So let's see. AMSWA. Oh, MVIS I wanted to look at too, because not that I would trade it, but American Software. All right, I don't know anything about this company. Who asked this? Knife. I don't know anything about this company, but let's just kind of take a look. So we had this big run up, big drop, 200-day and 100-day were acting as a resistance. Broke through, held, broke through. I would ask you, Knife, are you in this right now? If you're in it, could probably take a fade down to this 200-day SMA. Back down here, which should probably be like what's this? Like a 5% dip. So, Knife, if you're not in this yet, I would wait to take a position at 200. Because you can see it could bounce up, but the whole thing, like I say before, is your risk versus reward. The next major resistance is at 1679 and then at 1780. So if you took a position here, from here up to here is a 5% move, but from here to your next support is a 5% move. So you're risking 1 to 1. This does seem rad. I've been hanging out at another trading fraternity, but the guy gets on my nerves. Is it, oh my God, I forget his name. Is it Trading Fraternity? Is that the dude? I think I know who you're talking about. I used to watch him. Yeah, I kind of just try to keep it chill. I don't know, you know what I mean? I'm not in this to make a ton of money. It's kind of a side. Carl, yeah, I know what you're talking about. He's cool. Like, I've seen it. But I think that my style is just more of like growing as people and not, you know, I want to say like not just making a crap ton of money and be like, you're going to become a millionaire. But like, not that everybody's like that, but I like it to be really chill. But yeah, Knife, if you're not in this yet, I'd wait. 200, from 200 up to, you know, because think about it. If you took a position at the 200-day SMA, which is $15, from here, even all the way back up, you have to reverse engineer every position that you're going to take. So even from here back up to the EMA is a 6% return, right? And then up to the next resistance is a 11% return. Then up to the highs that it peaked at 18 is a 20% return. So, you know, even if you think it's going to go up to the EMA, that's a 6% return. You set a stop loss at 2.5%. That's a good risk versus reward. You're not here to make money on every play. That's why having proper risk management is what's going to be the difference between really being consistent and looking at this long term. I say it to my students all the time, but like, we're not here to make money today. I don't care if I make money today. Like, awesome. This is great. I don't know what Uber is going to do. I turned on the stream. I'm up $4,000 today. If I turned on the stream and Uber died and I was down 10 grand, I still don't care. I'm not doing this for today. Even my trading, I'm not doing it for today. You know, I'm building a skill, and I have been for the past 6 years, and you guys are building a skill that's going to make you money for the rest of your life. That's what brought me to trading. God forbid, if I got in a car accident and both my legs were gone tomorrow, I could still make money. You know, so it's a skill that you work for the future. Hey, Peter. What's up, Chandler? Can you talk about TTD? Let's do it up. First question, Chandler, are you in this? And we're going to go over shop earnings because I wanted to, I think they were today. I wanted to get puts, but I'm not going to risk that kind of money. I don't really ever play earnings, guys. I think I've played 3 earnings. Activision calls was a really good one that we made money on. But any earnings is a gamble. I don't like to gamble. I like to have educated gamblers. You're in this. Are you in puts, Chandler? If you're in puts, congratulations. If you have shares, no bueno. Okay, so you're in this since 290. If it's a long-term position, then it doesn't matter. Yeah, responsible gambling. That's why I always say to people, like, it's your edge. You have to find out what your edge is. I teach my edge and my strategy. Obviously, some of it's in the free videos, but most of it's in the courses. But everyone has their own style. You know, I say to my students, too, like, it's not like I want you to copy everything I do. I'm sure some people do. But it's about finding out what I do, and then I have, you know, finding out what I do and then creating your own style. Carlos, curious what your long-term portfolio looks like. So before all this, it was Skyworks Solutions, Boeing, which I got rid of both of them. I knew that this was going to happen. I didn't know it was going to be the Rona. I can't say the actual word. But if you go back and look at my YouTube videos in November, the first video I made was how to make money in a recession. Me and Oz, who is an admin, we've been waiting for this for a long time. So before that, it was like Skyworks. I had a little bit of RVL. I mean, Revolve, Boeing, Baba. It's kind of what my older one was. Now, the only thing I'm really holding, I had CCL. I sold it for like really, really nice profit because the more that I stayed in it, the more I really was like, I don't know how this is going to happen. Wynn Resorts, Boeing, Uber, which is a huge position of mine right now. And I was going to get into Skyworks again. But my long-term position has just been dwindling because nothing is where I really want it right now. And I've been rather allocating that capital to be trading more often than I have. Like in the past 2 weeks, I'm up $8,000. Now, that's not even including Uber. That's in trades, I'm up $8,000. With Uber, I'm probably up, I'm up $4,000 today on that, so like $12,000. But of course, it's not always like that. I lose money too. It happens to everybody. Oh yeah, so let's go back to TTD. So I'll ask you guys, what is this called? This right here. It's a pattern. I think it's a pattern. It's kind of set up. While we get answers on that, Maddie, is Wynn still good as long term? Hell yeah, I love Wynn Resorts. It's definitely gonna take a big hit. I think it's up today a bit, but I love Wynn Resorts long term. Great balance sheet, great company. Yeah, it's the high end, hotels and gambling, but yeah, I really love Wynn Resorts as a long term company. Wynn Resorts under $100 was like printing money. Wynn Resorts under. Cup and handle. Okay, not quite yet, but yeah, this is called a double top. So normally with a double top, we see a rejection and then we fade. Now a cup and handle would be if we hit the top, we come back down, we hit the top, we hit this EMA, and then we hold here. This would be creating this cup and handle effect here. So very good eye, Maddie, but as of right now, this is just called a double top. So we should see rejection here. Who was in this that asked about this? Chandler. So yeah, I would expect rejection here for sure. And it looks like earnings kind of started to reject, but now we're bouncing and holding. So really, Chandler, kind of not like the best technical analysis, but this happens a lot of times. It's really just 50-50. Like, it really is 50-50 at this point. If we get a ton of volume coming in, I don't know anything about the company. I don't know anything about earnings. If an earnings call goes good and a ton of volume comes into this, we could break out to the upside, break through this and get up higher. If not, we're going to fade. So I think the big thing to you, psychologically, is to ask yourself, like, what do I want to do with this? If you believe in the company long term, hold it. If you are thinking of it as a trade, what I would personally do is set a stop loss at even. So set your stop loss at 290. Cool, thanks. I have a heap of Uber myself. I keep buying whenever we go down below 27. Yeah, amazing, Carlos. That's great. I love Uber long term. I made a video that I think it's one of my biggest videos. I'm a small YouTuber. It's got like 5,000 views on $350 on Uber. So I'm really, really bullish. If you guys don't understand why I think it's going to be $350 a share, you should watch that video. Map Sosa, does the $30 a month for the Academy come with the Discord? If so, what does the Discord offer? Yep, so it does. I'm not going to, out of respect for the students, I'll drop it here. But basically, we have like our welcome section, earnings, so disclaimer, market news, replay stream. So we have a stream like this every single morning. And then I drop the replays because some people have work. And then comes with any trade ideas. So out of respect, I'm not going to show all of them, but these are all of our trade ideas. Some I have taken. Here's all my positions. Obviously lose some money sometimes, but most of them, ATVI made good money on. Boeing made good money on. So any position I have, that's going to be it. And then also you get access to all of the trade channels. We have 188 students now. So it's pretty dope. You get access to that too. My dog is probably going to start barking, but somebody at my neighbor's door. And you get to hang out with my dog in the morning too. Austin. Oh, that's in the Discord. Uber flying. Yes, it is. Matt. It's basically like this all day. We speak over everything going on. You can ask about any company. Yeah. So, also I ask any question. So usually every morning I go over like, hey, here's what I'm looking at. Here's what I'm playing. And then also like, if you have any question, like you can ask other people who have been a part of the Academy, or you can drop it in the trade request. I'll take a look at it. And we have a profit and losses section because I want people to talk about their losses. But luckily a lot of people make more money than they lose money. Is Win still good? Yeah, we talked about that. JJ. What's up, JJ? Are you new? Have you ever been here before? If so, welcome. If you have, welcome back. W, holding 170 puts. Damn. I wanted to hit Wayfair yesterday. Jeff Che. Yeah, Peloton, that was a bad one for me. I played it like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I was down like $2,000 at one point. I got out down $150, but I've been watching Peloton. We'll go over that too. 170 puts. I think my first question, who was that? JJ. First question would be, how long have you been holding it? When did you get in? I definitely think, here's my thing. I've lost Map Sosa. Welcome to the team. Yeah, you'll see the Discord link if you have an issue. Because for privacy reasons, sometimes it'll refresh. You can just shoot me a message. Or I'll have your email, so I can also send it to you. But welcome to the team. Thank you. Basically, oh yeah, okay. So let's see, where were we? Kind of lost. Yeah. So JJ, my thoughts would be like, where did you buy in at? Are you still down? The biggest thing I talk about in the academy is position sizing. What's up, Map Sosa? You're in. Shoot you. Welcome. Yep. If you got any questions about Discord or anything, just let me know. Yeah, so you always want to buy into a position. This goes for me for long term. This goes for me for a trade. You always want to buy in 3 times. So, or at least split them up. You never want to go in full. So say with me, I knew I was going to build, and I am going to come back to Wayfair. Just want to make a point. With Uber, I bought in originally. My first position was way back here at like 26. Then it kept going up, and I was like, you know what? It's long term. I don't care. I bought in again at like 35. And then as we were fading, I bought in again at 30, and then I bought in again at 24. The point is that you always want to have multiple buy-ins, whether it's a long-term or it's a short-term play. If we look at, what's one that I most recently had that I bought in a couple times, but especially in a squeeze situation like this. Have any of you guys ever heard of a short squeeze or the term market makers? Basically, a short squeeze happens when market makers, which are people who just run the market. We are not market makers. We are called retail investors. And retail investors, basically, we're just people who trade, retail. We don't move the market. It's really the big hedge funds. It's really the big guys who move the market. And there is a lot of manipulation that happens. You have to realize that any position that you have, any stop losses that you have, it's all can be seen, right? You can see everybody's stop losses. You can see everyone's positions. So what happens is let's look at something like Wayfair. All right, let's look at a situation like Wayfair. We had this big pop off of earnings. Actually, let's look at Snap. This will be better, and we will come back to this. We had this big pop. The big thing that brought Snap up so much was a 44% user growth year over year, which is pretty big. So we had this big pop. Now, you can see in this position, as soon as a stock like Snap pops 20% in a day, most people will say, oh yeah, I'm going to get puts. Let's get puts. Let's get puts. Let's get puts. Or let's short the stock. I don't short. I can talk about that later. I don't short anything. But you have all these people getting in puts. Now the logical thing would be, we're going to fade, but instead a big push. So I don't know if you ever heard of a term called max pain, but we have all probably felt it. Max pain is a point when you're in a position and you just cannot take another dollar loss. You just keep watching yourself lose money, lose money, lose money. You can't take it anymore. If you lose one more dollar, you're going to physically vomit and get sick. And I've cried over that. I've lost 26 grand in a week. I've lost 10 grand in a day. Not anytime recent. I'm not going to lie. Like, I cried over it. I was upset about it. I felt like a mess up. I felt like a terrible human being. That is called max pain. Hopefully none of you have felt it. If you have felt it, it's a learning tool. Now, in a situation like this, you get what is called a short squeeze. So you have all these people here who are buying puts, buying puts, buying puts. So what market makers do is they purposely push the stock up. Now, what does that do, right? At this point, the stock is already overbought. But still, they push and push and push, and it's called shaking out weak hands. Now, what happens is everybody who has puts starts to sell out, or they average down, and they're like, nah, screw this, I know I'm right, I'm going to average down, and then what happens? It keeps going up and going up and going up, and then once we get to the tippy top, to the point where everybody who was shorting it has lost so much money that they just want to get out, when everybody who has puts is completely knocked out. Because you have to remember, for anybody who doesn't know options, I teach it in the academy, but every option has a premium. So at this point, right here. Let's say you bought an option for, let's say that, no, this is not what I want. Here we go. Let's say your premium cost you $100, right at here. My arrow's the wrong way, but whatever. And let's say that now, by the time it gets up here, there's so much decay and it's gone against you so much that that premium is only $15. Yeah, dude, Map Sosa, hell yes. Maybe not today, but go look at SPCE. I did a whole video on it before. I called to the T what was going to happen, and it happened. That was a short squeeze, for sure. That was a couple months ago, but I made that, and I made a Tesla short squeeze video. So now this put is worth $100. So you got 10 of them. So you got $1,000. It just keeps going down and down and down and down and down. And then $15, your put's worth $15. Well, guess what? By the time the stock is pushed this high, everyone who had puts is out. Right? Now the put is only worth $15. Everybody who had shorts is out. There's nobody buying shares because you got to realize every transaction has somebody on the other side. Who the hell is going to be buying this long term? It's so overpriced. Everybody knows it. But now, while market makers are pushing the price of the stock up, they are loading the boat on these $15 puts. Loading the boat. Now, what happens? They dump their shares. So now they're loaded up on puts. They dump all the shares they have, and there's nobody there to catch this, and it dumps. And they make tons of money. And that's called a short squeeze. It happens all the time. If you look at Tesla, that's what happened. I called this out. This exact thing happened here. And I talk about market cycles a lot too. We had this huge push, and this was parabolic. This was ridiculous. It should have never happened. But it did. And we kept getting this big push up. And then look what happened. I remember I never play weekly puts. This day, I remember it to the T. I wish I could zoom in on the specific day and show the 1 minute chart. There was 10 minutes left in the trading session. I had puts. It dumped 10% in a single day. And then from there, we just took a huge spill. But it happens all the time. And so with W, long story short, I think that was JJ who has 170 puts. My advice would be careful. Because this could continue pushing, even though for no logical reason, it should continue to move. For no logical reason. It could just keep going up and up and up. And that happens a lot. Everything in the stock market doesn't have to be logical. And if you ask me, and I could always be wrong, of course. If you look at SPY, this move that we got, this pop up, I think that was a short squeeze. I think it was just shaking out the weak hands, the people who have SPY puts who are afraid to lose money. And that's why I say to you guys, buy in multiple. This is how I've lost the most amount of my money in my life and my career, was trying to time the down. Always trade with the trend if you can. But that's why even in a position like this, I actually made money on this. I bought my first put here. Then I bought again here. And then I bought again, ironically, at the perfect time. It took a dump. I actually made money on it. But that's why you split your buy-ins up. And I even split my sells. Like, let's look at McDonald's. I played this. I called this out in the group 3 or 4 days ago. Ascending wedge with a bearish divergence with a Ttm squeeze. This is the golden unicorn play that I did. This is what we primarily trade. I bought puts here. It dumped. I was up 100%. I sold out a half of my position, and now I've just been letting this position ride. You have to de-risk your positions as soon as possible. Jeff, thoughts on PTON? Well, with PTON, I kind of saw this coming because I know a lot of people have been ordering Pelotons. I did not expect this kind of move. This is another one of those where this thing's just going parabolic. Whenever you get a breakout like this, I usually want to wait a couple days. I'd rather not get the perfect timing. I'd rather just get a good price. All the calls, like I would never get calls on this right now, but I would wait a couple days. You want to see this volume start to come out and fade out. Like you see this big spike we had here, and then the volume get pulled out. I I would keep this on your watch list, Jeff, but I would not take a position yet, personally. Do you think... Oh, let's talk about SPCE, actually, real quick, today. Yeah, this could have been a short squeeze. But the other thing is, with something... Usually see short squeezes when we're at all-time highs. With this could have been a situation with earnings where investors realize, like, oh, they're not actually that terrible, and it could be worth getting in. What's up, Nabil? Welcome. This is your first time here. Welcome to the channel. Let's see. But yeah, so Twilio, what do you think will have a further continuation into next? Holy crap. I didn't even see this. Jesus Christ. You guys don't even understand, like, why I'm so upset. I love Twilio. I had like a $17,000 position in Twilio at like $80 a share, or it was like $85 a share, and I ended up selling it when the market started tanking out. God damn. This is why I don't want to happen with Uber. This is why you don't get out if you have a long term. This is your first time here, Nabil. What's up? Thank you. This is so cool. We have so many new people who are here. Hit the subscribe button if you're down. Make a lot of videos on the stock market, on psychology, on entrepreneurship. It's a really good place, really good community to be a part of. Yeah, geez, I almost called this out in our Discord community. I hesitated on Twilio earnings as well, but I was able to scalp the ride up. Congratulations. Yeah, I'm really surprised. I didn't even look. I didn't even look at this coming into earnings. I would not have expected Twilio to have that kind of earnings. That's crazy. I actually wanted to look at MVIS. I made a whole video on Jesus Christ. This hurts because I know there's students who have this. And I don't ever want to like rub anything in anybody's face, but I really, really, really try to get across to everybody to never trade penny stocks. You can make good money, and I have a lot of people who comment some like nasty crap and some dumb stuff on my YouTube. Like I made a UAVS video. I get a lot of people who are like, "You're an idiot. I made $1,000 today or $5,000 today." You know, I'm telling you now, you're not gonna make consistent gains for the rest of your life trading penny stocks. You're not. And if you're somebody who has $500, $600, $700, $800 in your portfolio, and you're like, hey, but you know, I want to make money, and the only way I can do this is through penny stocks. Like, it's sad, and I always sound like, you know, to get you guys down, but you're not going to do it with penny stocks. If you only have $500, $600, $700 to be investing, hey, you know, become part of a community. Doesn't have to be my private community. It can be, but you know, become part of a community. Find a mentor. Paper trade. Learn. Build the skill. The money will follow. I'm telling you. You have to have a realistic expectation of this. And so this sucked. I made a whole video on UAVS on YouTube. It's actually one of my biggest videos, even though I didn't want it to be, how you should never trade penny stocks. And now to see this happen with MIVS, I tried MVIS. Tried to warn a lot of people. I know people who are buying in up here. That sucks. That really sucks. Well, it's all good. Let's see. T in general. All right, Carlos. AT&T. All right. I would personally never invest in AT&T, or T-Mobile or any of them. I know 5G is huge when it, and you know, for the future. But for me, when it comes to 5G, I would rather invest in like a semiconductor company like Skyworks Solutions. That would be my play on 5G. But from a technical analysis standpoint, do you guys know what this pattern is? We have this and this. What's this called? If you don't know, it's cool. I always say to my academy and my students, like, There's no such thing as a dumb question or a dumb answer. Nabil, do you think Uber will go up tomorrow? I don't know. I really, I'll educatedly tell you I don't know. From a technical standpoint, it's overbought. There's a lot of people who would be taking profits out, but it could, because you got to realize, like, as long-term investors, there's not a lot of good stuff out there right now, and people want to put their money to work. Map Souza, Carlos Savage, you guys are right. Maddie, ascending triangle. No, an ascending triangle would look like this, where you get resistances bouncing, and then you would get a support. Actually, a really good ascending triangle is Uber right here. Nice ascending triangle going on. But yes, so we have a bear flag. Now, what ends up happening with a bear flag pattern is usually we have this flag coming down here. This is called your pole. So this is your flag pole. This is called a bear flag. A bull flag would be if we had a flag pole and then the flag coming out. What tends to happen is you have the pole, you have the flag bouncing. We break support, and then we fade down to a lower low. So who was that? Who said T? Carlos. Yeah, I'd be looking at puts for this. Now, the problem with a situation like this is, while this is a really good setup, just think to yourself risk versus reward, and have a stop loss set in place. But yeah, very nice bear flag. Great pattern too. That's the other thing too. I tell my students, find out what your best patterns are. Document everything. If you're new to trading, or you're having a problem with trading, or you're unable to stay consistent, document everything. Document how you feel. Document your notes. Document, are you afraid to take a position? Document how much you're trading with. If you're losing money, keep bringing your trade. I talk about all that in the academy, but you need to do that. I'm long on T. Hey, nothing wrong with that, Carlos. If you believe in that company, you're all good. And I'm not saying that, you got to think, going long, it's not a big deal. Carlos, you just earned yourself a member. Thank you, brother. I put the, I put it up here in the chat. If not, it's in the link in all my videos. But, yeah, I mean, if you're long on T, it's not a big deal if it goes down in the short term. It could bounce here too. Like, I would not be taking a put position on T right now, even though it looks so good in a bear flag. You have to think your risk versus reward, right? If you took a position here, a put position, the most it's going to fade, 9-10%. But if we bounce back up here, it's just not the risk versus reward. It's not the best right there. Oz, I love them because of their dividend, Carlos. Yeah, Oz loves T. I don't mind them. I just probably would never purchase them. Chandler B. So the market acts accordingly to the charts, or the charts move accordingly to the news. So the chart is reflective of the price of a company. But the thing is, with the price, it's all psychology, right? People see, I always come back to this because this is textbook. Boeing, before this dump, this was trading in one of the perfect channels ever, right? Let's take a look at this. Let me zoom out a bit. Nope, that's too zoomed in. Too zoomed out. Okay, so let's look at this channel. Every single time Boeing would hit 390, it would reject. Every time Boeing would hit 320, it would bounce. I'll ask you guys this. Why? Why would it bounce? Now, most of you will say support and resistance. So the real question is, why was a support created there? And why was a resistance created there? Why do supports and resistances happen? Hoping for a short-term pullback on T. I agree with you. I do think T is good. Is that the SMA? No, this is just, I just drew this. This is my little draw tool. But the answer is because people think that. there is no, if I remove this and I remove all of this, right? There is no reason. There's no like, oh, as soon as Boeing hits 390, time to get, like, there's no reason. All of these charts happen. It's where most of the candlesticks bounce from. Exactly. But think about it. Support and resistance happens because people think it's going to happen. That makes sense. Kind of like an inception. This got rejected here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. It's not that something fundamentally changed with the company 6 times. It's that people no longer think that that's a good deal. And so supports and resistances happen because psychologically they happen, if that makes sense. Every single time it hit 370 to 390, people said, not worth it. I'm going to sell. I'm going to take my profits. Every single time Boeing hit 320, people said, time to buy in. Let's go. It's the same way with like when you're burnt, right? Like if every single time you cook dinner and you put your hand down and you touch the oven and you got burnt, you would stop touching that oven, right? Every single time if that happens, you would stop doing that. That's how support and resistance is happening. That's why when you look at a candle, you can't look at the candle like it's the end all be all. All of this technical analysis is created because people think it's real, right? Like in reality, these are just numbers. They don't mean anything. The reason that any of this has any validity is because people believe it's going to happen. This squeeze on Uber was not like the stock was doing something. No, it's just this is how it happens, and people think that a squeeze is happening. If that makes any sense. To somebody who's a beginner, you might not understand that, but somebody who's been watching the market for 6 years, this happens because people think that's what's going to happen. Nabil, I bought Kronos. Everybody expects it to be up tomorrow. Is Kronos Kronos Group? I don't know anything about them, but technically you have a big squeeze that's happening. So right now it's 50-50. We're sitting on the 200-day SMA. RSI pointing up, MACD crossed. We're under the 200. It's 50-50 in my opinion right now. I don't know anything, but technically it's a half-half. So hopefully, good luck to you, Nabil. Hopefully that works out. So the market action, we were doing whatever that. It's where most candles bounce. Chandler, I observed a couple weeks ago, market didn't care about unemployment numbers and kept going up. Last Thursday, same news came up and the S&P was at 295, resistance Fibonacci, and all of a sudden it dumped. What the hell? Yeah, I mean, you have to realize it's all psychology, right? Like look at what are the two things that move humans and move the stock market, right? Greed and fear. What is stronger, greed or fear? They're both strong, but greed and fear is so much more powerful than greed, because, and I've documented this, I've talked about this way before we had a market crash. And if you look here, the market was bound to pull back, right? Like even if we look at a 3-year chart from 2018, when we took that dive, right, up, that was a 43% return in a year. The market was so overbought. And guess what? There was still people buying. There was still people buying up here. Greed had taken everybody over, right? Even here, you see this dump back in February? This was when, and I can't say the word because of YouTube, this is when the Rona was demolishing China. And anybody who was not filled with greed would look objectively and say, it's only time before it comes here. You know, it's only time before this that happens to them happens to everybody, right? And there's still people buying. But look, it took us almost a year and a half for us to gain 40%, which is insane. On average, the S&P 500 gains 10% a year. We gained 43% in 1 year. It took us 31 days to die 36%. This over here is greed. This over here is fear. And so this here, the move that we have now, this is greed and greed and greed and greed. But now we're starting to hit a tipping point in the market. If you just were to zoom out and screw technical analysis, right? Let's not even look at SPY. Let's just look at technical analysis. And let's look at this. Would you buy this right now? If you don't even know anything, right, about the stock market, is this a good time to buy this long term? You don't know anything. You can only go off of a chart. No SMAs, is this a good time to buy Wayfair? No. I'm not getting a deal. I'm at an all-time high. This thing is just going straight up. No. Right? But this is greed. And you have to learn how to manage your greed and manage your fear. And so, Chandler, while you were saying, which is very apparent and very smart, and we do have labor numbers tomorrow, while jobless claims are getting worse and worse, the market is getting back up. Because now, and I'm going to talk about, the whole Rona situation, and I'm not going to say how I feel really about it, but think about it. The longer and longer this whole Rona situation goes on, the less and less people care. The more people realize they're not being affected. The more people realize, whatever, I'm just going to go about my normal life. They care less and less. And that's what you see here. But during the first month of craziness and grabbing toilet paper and beating people over the head for, paper towels and stuff, nobody was thinking about this. But now that we have a chance to sit back and look, people are caring less and less. And that's why, even though numbers are bad, we're seeing a move up. Let's see. Moving on almost 2 hours. Holy crap, it's my longest stream. My girlfriend's sitting on the couch just yep, 2 hours. Let's see. So in other words, there isn't necessarily a physical resistance causing the bounce or fall, but instead it's caused by people expecting it. Hit the nail on the head, Maddie. Yeah, that's all it is. Technical analysis is only there because people believe in it. But we, it sounds mean, can take advantage of that. It's like if every single time you went to I don't know. Say every time you went to your dad's house, your dad was drunk, and every time you walked in the door, he cursed you out and he was pissed at you and he called you an idiot, and you left that house feeling terrible. It doesn't mean that every single time you walk into that house is not what is making you feel terrible. It's just that you have this feeling every time you go in there that your drunk dad's going to yell at you. It's not the house. The house didn't do anything. It's that you forever feel that when you walk into that house, that's what's going to happen. And so that's kind of probably not the best analogy, but this stuff happens because people expect it to happen. And you can see that less and less volumes coming into the market, which means less and less people are buying and selling, which means that, I talk about in my academy and in the courses that if you think of volume and price action, I do archery. If you think of the price action is like the aiming of the arrow. If the price action's going up, you have good aim on the arrow. The volume is the pullback. The more volume, the further you pull, the further the arrow is going to go. Therefore, the further the price is going to go in either direction. There's no volume. There's no gas. It's like having, the gas in the car is your volume. The GPS is your price action. Doesn't matter if your GPS is set to the correct place if you don't have any volume to get there. Or gas. Carlos, so this chart is emotions. Yeah? Are you fellas stashing cash for another big dip with puts? Map Sosa said. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I got probably 30 grand cash sitting around. So yeah, I'm waiting. But here's the thing. While I am pretty bearish on the market, you have to realize, I could be wrong. Market could rip tomorrow. And that's why I still have longs. I still have a lot of money in Uber. Still have a lot of money in Win. I'm planning on building out some other positions. You're never going to get the best price ever. You got to realize that. You're never going to get the best price on something. So you need to just, I'm about 70% in the market right now, 60% in the market right now, but I do have puts. Publicly I'll share the 2 puts I have. I have SPY 250 strike price 619 puts. I'm down 200 on them right now, but I'm not worried about, right now. And then I have SPY 240 September 17th puts. So I'm constantly hedging. Thoughts on NVDA run up towards earnings later in the month? So, not looking good. Big price level up here. Been rejected 1, 2, 3, 4 times. We have this ascending wedge, which usually is bearish, but we kind of dipped out and bounced. It depends. Here's the thing. I don't understand. While my entire business, my entire life is on a computer, I don't know anything about computers. I do know different semiconductors work on different things. So, like, I love Skyworks Solutions. They're all iPhones, and they make chips for iPhones. I think NVIDIA is more computers. I know AMD is computers, but I think they also do, like, video gaming. So, you kind of have to look at what other stocks have done. Like, Skyworks had amazing earnings. They're up pretty big. MU had they had earnings a bit ago, and they dumped. AMD had earnings, they fell. To me, who was that? Map Sosa, not worth it. I would not get calls, I would not get shares, unless you believe in them long term. But as a play, not worth it. Puts on the other hand, could be worth it. We got, how many days? 15 days. Puts could be good. But I don't hold anything through earnings usually. I recently held Activision through earnings, but that's because I really do believe in Activision, and I thought they would be good. I sold all my AMD when it ripped to 60. Very smart. You want to know something funny? Carlos Savage. Let me see if I can actually go to my Robinhood. I believe in AMD. I love AMD. Let me see if I can go to my Robinhood. Me and Oz. He's another admin in our private community. I bought AMD at $9. Bought AMD at $9. Sold them early. Funny story, I bought about $20,000 worth of Tesla at $190. Sold it at $240. Apple's going to start making their own chips. Yeah. I don't think for the phone, but they definitely are for the MacBooks. So that's not good for NVIDIA. I think who makes their chips. Chandler, thanks, Pete. I guess you should make a public video on companies you believe in with a good balance sheet and innovation ones. Yeah, thank you. You are amazing. Thank you, brother. Yeah, I can totally do that. Yeah, but see, Carlos, that's why if you believe in a company long term, I'm trying not to do it with Uber right now, but that's why if you believe in a company long term, a lot of what I talk about in the courses, and you'll get to that, since you say you're joining, it's like you got to realize you can't listen to other people. You can't even listen to me. I think that was you who said you're in AT&T long. Hey, if you believe in it, if you believe in that, stick with it. If I say, hey, I don't like AT&T, but you're in it long term, don't take my advice or at least think of it. There's a lot of people who tell me I'm an idiot for getting into Uber. Who cares? I was an idiot and I listened to a lot of people about Tesla and I got out too early. I listened to a lot of people about AMD. I was overpriced. I got out of it. So always listen to yourself. Map Sosa, triple top on NVDA. Time to grab some puts. I do agree with you. Yeah, for sure. Puts look nice. And good risk versus reward on these puts. I'm actually going to add this to my watch list. Very nice. And I talked about DGX. I did take a position on that today. This is looking pretty good for a cup and handle. sure that made you a better trader. Everything makes you a better trader. I'm telling you, as long as you have the mentality to look at yourself and learn, it'll always make you a better trader. Good advice. It's sometimes just invaluable to get a second, very well informed. Yeah, always get a second opinion, but get it from, and I just put this out in a video. I spent a lot of time making this video. But it's funny, the videos I spend all the time on, I don't get the big views on. But on, mastery, and one of the things that I was talking about was like, only take advice from people you would switch places with, and only take advice from people you respect and what they know what they're talking about. Always take informative advice from other people and understand criticism, but like, don't take advice from like a bartender who's telling you to buy Tesla at $900 a share. That has happened to me. So don't do that. All right, guys, 2 hours. I would love to stay in chat, but I actually do need to eat. My poor girlfriend's like unable to make any noise and walk around the house right now. So I feel bad. But listen, thank you guys. Anybody who is new, thank you so much. Hit the like button. I'm really, really happy to have you guys here. I really just want to build a community, whether you're in the private community or not, or on YouTube, of people who just want to help each other. It's sad, but the stock market world is more toxic than it has to be. And I've been a part of so many groups, and I'm not going to bash anybody. I've been a part of so many Facebook groups and stuff, where, people ask a question, and then you either have people like, oh, you're such an idiot. I can't believe you'd ask what support is. You don't learn that way. Or you have people who just don't know, and they try to pretend like they know. So this is kind of like what I want to do. I always say, like, build a life that will outlive you, and this is what I'm trying to do. I want to help other people so they can help other people. And one of my favorite things is seeing students, I said this in a video, and my girlfriend was like, you said in the video you like seeing your students fail, and you like seeing your students succeed. Not only do I like to see people learn and become better, but I like, and I do notice, which a lot of my students do, in a Facebook group, somebody will have a question and they'll come in and they'll help answer it. Or somebody will be making fun of somebody and someone in my group will step in and be like, yo, listen, like, this is what you got to do if you ever need help. That's what it's about. It's about making everybody else better. It's how you grow. You grow as people, and as a community. So that's what I'm here for. That's what I want to do. If you do want to be a part of our private academy, I will put it back in the chat again. It's $30 a month. You get access to all the courses, all the lectures. I'm constantly posting stuff on there. We go live like this usually every morning and sometimes at night like this. Go over everything I'm trading, what I'm looking at. I'm sure some people just take my positions blindly, but the goal kind of is just so you can see what I see. You know what I mean? And re-engineer that. Let's really quickly, before we hop off, look at Uber. Starting to find a bit of a... Look at this, guys. To the T. To the T. What did we say? 35. That's my dog. He's about to kill my neighbor, probably. $35 to the T got rejected. So that was perfect. What time do you go live? Every morning. Map Sosa, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, usually to like 10:30. Depends. If you can't watch it, because I understand some people are on Pacific Standard and you got to get up at like 6 or 7 a.m. If you can't watch it, they are all saved and they're under the replay stream in the Discord. And any position I take will be in the My Position section. When I buy or sell, any trade ideas I put in the trade section. So seriously, thank you guys all for watching and being a part of this. It was really dope. All right. Gonna go eat some dinner, drink some water, maybe get a cough drop. My throat's dying. Thank you guys. Subscribe. Welcome to the community. And thank you guys for everything. Peace. Have a good night.